Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs that sell. And be sure to stay tuned until the end of the video because I have another 5 bonus niches for you. So in today's video, I want to show you how you can create this design right here using Canva. This is my listing. I'm on Amazon right now. This is a fun teacher shirt, so great for English teachers. And this can be worn year-round, so it's not necessarily seasonal, but English teachers do, or not English teachers, I should just say teachers in general, especially elementary school teachers, love their teacher shirts, especially around the beginning of the year. It's a great time to get new teacher shirts. So this is a fun grammar one. It says, there are people who didn't listen to their teacher's grammar lessons and they're driving me nuts, with all 3 different types of theirs. Now, this is a popular style in terms of like the color and layout. So I did want to show you guys how you can create this kind of design. And again, you don't have to recreate this exact niche with these exact words to get the benefit out of, this style. And again, these bright colors and stuff, these are things I've seen a lot on Etsy lately. So we're going to jump over to Canva and we're going to recreate this design right here. So I'm going to start with a blank page. I'm on Canva's homepage here. We're just going to go to custom size. I'm going to select 4500 by 5400 pixels. That is the standard t-shirt size, and it does ensure that when I print it, it will print at above 300 dpi. Now, I do like to optimize my designs typically for the darker colors, but the cool thing about the bright color shirts is that they really do look good either on white or black. So that is one plus of the bright colors. But let's go ahead, select black as our background color. And we're going to start with just text. So it's pretty easy to do. Let's just pull up a text box. And we're going to start with, this is going to be in all caps, there. Right? So here is my first line, which is my there. And let's go ahead and, take this there, make it big. And in fact, let's just go ahead and duplicate it a few times. So there, and I'm just going to switch this out, there, and there. So I've got my 3 theres. And space them pretty evenly in the page there. So that's what we're starting with. And I'm going to pull up another text box here. This one is going to end up being a little bit smaller, but there, let's see, are people who didn't, listen to, now this is going to have to be a lot smaller here, right? So this line is going to go down here. There are people who didn't listen to there. And to make sure I get my same sizes, I'm going to hit Control D on this and just bring it down because it's going to be easier. There, teachers, grammar, lessons, comma, and then I've got there. One more time, Control D, that duplicates it. And that's going to say driving me nuts. Be driving me nuts, driving me crazy, driving me whatever you want. And that'll do. And they're driving me nuts or they're driving me crazy. Yeah, let's go with crazy. I think I actually wrote crazy. Doesn't matter. And they're driving me crazy. So that is my basic layout. And then so from here, we're going to pick our fonts. We're going to get it all spaced right. Then we're going to go ahead and do the colors and any flourishes that we're going to add. So let's start with some fonts. I want obviously something that is bold, something that is easy to read. You probably want something that's a little bit more on the narrow side for the small stuff because you do still need it to be relatively easy to read. So you can look through, you can search through bolds. Usually the hardest part for me for a design is finding the font that I want. So I can spend a lot of time looking through dozens and dozens of fonts to find the one that I think really looks great with the design. And there is no right or wrong, obviously. People are going to get different styles with different fonts. So I looked for a while, and for the bigger fonts, I wanted something bold and kind of fun, kid-like. I went with one called Laundrina. There's a Laundrina. They always have weird names that I can never. There it is. Laundrina. Laundrina Solid. So that is what I decided to go with for the big ones. They're big, they're bold, they're narrow, and they still give a nice kids look, and again, great for you know, like an elementary school teacher. So let's make this nice and big. It's at a 996 right now. Again, nice and big. And one more time, nice and big across the page here. Something like this. I can get all the sizes right later. I just want to make sure that it looks cool. So we see how that is going already. Next, for the smaller stuff, again, I looked through a ton of fonts, considered lots of things. What I ended up going with was Hobo, which I really like, but you can do whichever one you want. This was cool because it's a little bit narrow. It's still nice and bold and kind of easy to read. And so I thought that that looked kind of cool. Like it went with it pretty well. Oops. Just going to switch all of these here to Hobo. Okay. And so now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of pick the sizes that I want for everything. So I like this bottom one is kind of going right across. So I'm probably going to try to line up the edges so that they kind of go edge to edge, like right there. So let's say I want all of the fonts to pretty much go from edge to edge. So I'll start here. Let's bring that across so that it's about edge to edge, more or less. And center it. That's pretty close. Bring this down again. Let's bring this out. Because they're different lengths of words, they're going to be different font sizes. So the font size is going to be a little bit different. But I want them to pretty much take up the same amount of space on the page. So they all take up about the same amount of space on the page. And I'm going to do the same thing again with the littler ones. I want it to take up about the same amount of space on the page, more or less, something like that. It's, you know, close enough. Same thing here. This one I might not have go all the way across because it's going to be a pretty big difference in size. So this one I might leave a little bit shorter. Still centered. So something close to that in terms of the layout. Now I'm going to need a little bit more space because what I'm thinking of doing is putting a box around the smaller stuff. So to put a box around the smaller stuff, I'm going to need to make sure that I've got a lot of space on top and on bottom. So let's move this down so I got more space to work with. So starting here, I'm just going to hit R and make a rectangle. Now you can pick any color you want. For me, I decided to make the rectangles purple. Wanted to go with a nice bright purple color. Any purple color you want, really. It doesn't matter. Something light enough to pop. And it is going to go around here. Something like that. I'm going to center the font in the box. Perfect. And then I'm going to group my rectangle and my fonts together so that they can come with one another. And so that'll work out real good. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll move this out of the way. I'm going to hit R. It's already the same color. I'm going to take that again, move it side to side. I might have to take this and shrink it down just a little bit so that I get a little space side to side. Something like that. Again, another rectangle. Make a little bit smaller. Again, once I got that centered, I'm going to go ahead and just group those together so that I don't have to worry about that. That way I can move these together. Centered to there. Take this little one here. I'm going to send that to the back. All right, so far so good. And we're going to do one more time for the text down here. So one more rectangle. And it's going to go again right underneath, side to side. This one might end up having to be a little bit thicker than the others because, again, the font down here is a little bit bigger. Bring this one up. One thing I could do to try to make it a little bit easier would be to shrink it down in terms of the size, but space the letters out just a little bit. So if I took that letter spacing and I made it a little bit wider, maybe not anything huge, but it's just going to make it a little bit wider without me having to make it any bigger than it is. And so that looks kind of cool there, and that'll work out just fine. And I don't know if I'm going to ungroup that. I want to make sure that that one looks centered. Looks a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I've got it taking up pretty much the entire page. Everything is lined up real big. The sizes are working good. So now we're going to go ahead and pick some colors to go with this. So again, we're picking any kind of bright colors. Doesn't matter which ones you necessarily want, but let's go ahead and start, and then we'll put some outlines, we'll put some flourishes. I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to start with the T. Let's just go with a nice fun teal color. Let's see, maybe a little bit more of a bluer shade for the teal. That's fine. What do I like? This blue shade? That's easy enough. And then nice purple. The purple I'm going to do is going to be a little bit different shade of purple. Oops, what am I doing? So maybe something that's a little bit darker. I want it to not quite be the same as that. Maybe there. And then we'll go with pink. That'll work. Maybe a brighter pink even. Something bright. There. Orangey shade. Let's go with an orangey shade. And then maybe a yellowy shade for the last one. And the yellow, I want to be a real bright yellow. So that looks pretty cool. And then I'm just going to sort of repeat those colors. And they don't necessarily have to be in any particular order. You can kind of try to make them random, or you can repeat the order if you want, however you like it. I'm going to do a little bit of a repeating here. We'll just kind of start in different places and then repeat the sequence, and that's easy enough to do. So you can see how I did that, and then maybe go with yellow, start with yellow, and I'm still kind of following the same order though, I'm just starting at different places. And we highlight one letter at a time. Oops. Okay. So I've got that, and that looks pretty good so far. Next thing I'm going to do is outline everything in white. That's going to make sure that if it's on a dark shirt, it's going to pop, and it's going to help kind of bring the whites here. So let's go ahead, take the whole thing. Sorry, let's go to Effects, Outline. I'm picking white. Let's pick an appropriate thickness, right? So that's at 21, and that looks pretty cool. So let's do it again. And we'll stick with white. I'm going to stick with probably around the same 21 or so. And that still looks good. And then one more time, outline. We'll stick with the white. That's 23. It's fine. So something there. So that already looks pretty cool. It's popping, it's nice, it's bright, it's fun, it's teacherish. One thing I did to make it a little bit more unique is I added little highlights to the letters. And that's just one thing that you can do. It takes a little extra time, but it does make it a little bit different than everybody else's. And I did that by just using rectangles. So if I hit R on my keyboard, for example, I pull up a rectangle. Let's say I make this rectangle white. And I'm going to go ahead and make it really narrow, so it's essentially just like a line. And then I can, change the length of the line. And now I can just take that line, for example, and stick it right here. And so that is kind of what I did there. I did that. And Let me zoom in. Let's do this one word at a time. So if I take this line here, I can use the arrows on my keyboard, by the way, to move this line up, down, right, left, 1 pixel at a time. And so I can kind of space it exactly where I want it. And so there is a pretty easy line to make. I can then take it, click it, hit Control D, that will duplicate it, and then I can take it in again. I can move it over. For this one, I'm going to make it a little higher, a little longer. That looks pretty cool. Again, take it, hit Control D. Pretty straightforward. Move it on over. Put it wherever I want it. Again, I can always adjust it by going right, left, whatever I want. Up, down, right, left. And that looks pretty cool. And I'm just going to do this letter by letter, line by line. And I'm just adding a little bit of highlights to it. It just makes it look a little bit more fun, a little bit more different. You can do it with circles too. You can do like a bunch of little circles on there. I've seen stuff like that. It just takes a little bit more work. And so some people are like, I don't want to bother. But if you wanted to, I mean, I could do pretty much any kind of circles, any kind of repeating shapes, anything I wanted to do that would kind of make it look kind of just cool. So let's take this one again, hit Control D. This time I'm going to take this line and move it on down here. That's going to be a little bit different line to line because, again, these are different size fonts. So I'm going to have to make this one a little bit taller. Something like that will work. And that looks pretty cool. You can take the one from up here, Control D, bring it on down. Again, might make it a little bit taller. Oops, lost it. Come back. There it is. Bring it on down. That looks cool. So just like that, you can see little bits of highlights there. And then one more time, we're going to go down. So again, Control D, and I'm going to move it on down. And again, I'm going to have to make it a little bit shorter. Keep it kind of wide there. That looks pretty good. Oops. Click it, Control D. A little bit taller. That looks kind of cool. Almost done. If you accidentally move something, by the way, don't freak out. Just hit the undo button. It'll take it back one spot. So no need to panic if you accidentally move something. There we go. Control D. But there you can see how I've done it now with all of them. So just that little extra highlighted in there. And you don't have to. It was just an extra step, took a little bit extra time, but it makes it just a little bit more unique so that it's different than everybody else's. And so now here I've got my really brightly colored, cool design. Obviously, it pops really well on black, that's for sure. If I wanted to see how it would look on a white shirt, I can just change the background color to white. And you can see it's still going to pop out. The yellow may be a little bit harder to read. I could always go ahead and take that yellow and make it an even brighter, darker color. But it looks good. Most of the time, you're going to sell them on a darker color shirt anyways. So going back to my example, I put it on several different color shirts. So I showed it to you. Here it is on a black, there on a navy. Here it is on white, green, brown. I mean, I gave a lot of different options for colors. Most of the time, what you're going to sell is going to be black anyways, but always good to put some different options. So it actually did pop pretty well on a bunch of different colors. So that is what I was going for there. I'm going to jump back over to Canva real quick. So from here, what we can do is we can title it. And so I could title it there, there, oops, there, and then just go ahead, hit share, We're going to download it. It's a transparent background. It's a PNG. We'll hit download. And now you can upload that PNG to any of the print providers that you use, whether it's Printful, Printify, if you sell on Redbubble, or if you sell through Amazon, however it is you want to do it. Of course, you can always print this at home too, if you've got a printer for home. So however it is, you go ahead and print it. But there you go. And again, it doesn't have to go on a shirt. You can put it on any product you want. And if you sell on Amazon through Amazon Merch, you're going to put it on every product they've got. But again, fun one to market to teachers, especially English teachers, especially elementary school teachers. It's fun, it's bright, it's funny, and so it's a good one for just year round. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I do read all the comments, and thank you so much for all of your kind words. I hope you guys are really doing well with all of your sales. Again, if you're new to print on demand, I do have a beginner's course that I sell on Etsy for like 20 bucks, just because I want everybody who wants it to be able to afford it. It's got like 118 pages. It's got links to all sorts of videos, and I do have 4 exclusive videos showing you how to set up your own Etsy shop. I also have it as a paperback book on Amazon. I'm going to have a link down there too. Obviously, the paperback version, you can't click on any of the links, and I don't have the 4 videos showing you how to set up your Etsy shop. But if you just like books, I do have the paperback version that still goes step by step on how to, do print on demand. And because you guys were so patient and you did wait until the end of the video, I do have another 5 bonus niches for you guys. So without any more waiting, these are your 5 bonus Halloween niches. So niche number 1, it says waiting for Halloween, or just waiting for Halloween. And I've seen it done with like a skeleton. Number 2, let's go ghouls. That's kind of a little bit of a cowboy ghost theme. Number 3, teachers love brains, kind of a zombie theme there. Read more books with a ghost reading a book, easy enough. And then number 5, I don't like you either. And that's a picture of a candy corn. And so I thought that one was hilarious. Again, I'm sure you guys can come up with some great, fun ways to design for these niches. And I hope you guys are doing good, growing your portfolio, learning new skills, and I do hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.